Hi guys! Yesterday we did some progress and today we will see how the progress looks like. Yesterday we was unlocking a house upgrade, museum, and I think that's all. And also today I will try to get enough points to buy the tools because we are so broke in the game.
Again, the fog.
Do we have sound? By the way, question mark? Do we have sound? Activate. Let me check real quick.
There are too many swordsmen. Jesus. It's too much. Therefore, they're pushing me so far back. Yeah, I'm dead.
I hear nothing.
No. Because he's at a jammer. Yeah, he as well.
Okay, weird.
He's dead as well. Just come here. I died near to you.
I have no idea.
Just 4 swordsmen and I need to reload. It was so bad.
Sorry, I don't know why I hear that. Probably you guys hear something
I know
with
the
it.
swordsmen push you so hard.
I honestly hear nothing. Nope.
No.
No. Sorry, I have to do the settings. I was plugging a lot of shit out and then back in. It's so annoying.
Grenade launcher squad, Jesus.
I'm honest, I hear nothing. Hi guys. Discord. What if I do one more? But I have video capture device. Why the game has a glitchy effect? You guys see that? Why it has a glitchy effect? What the hell? Wait, you know what I will do? Unplug, plug back in. Let me see. Okay. Sure.
Deactivated in OBS and activated again. It's simple enough.
I know I did, don't worry. Don't worry about it. I just have a weird sharpening effect when someone is moving.
Deactivate, activate.
I did it multiple times already.
Yeah, now it's working.
No.
It is working.
I meant here, you see it?
What?
Wait. See when it's moving.
Yeah, there's something wrong with the HDMI cable. Or is someone doing something with the mode?
I touched nothing.
Just randomly going through the options again. You activated the stuff.
No.
Yes.
And what?
But 100%
I checked. I did nothing. Where?
Bildsteuerung.
Okay. And here what?
No, it wasn't this one. No.
Okay.
It is the... Go back in the settings.
Okay. There you go.
Maybe it's Bildstein.
Oh fuck, sorry.
Yeah. It's somewhere. I don't know.
Sure, and I hear nothing. Probably the stream is hearing, but I hear nothing. We have that shit too. I really hear nothing.
Yes, that's normal. Then you go back in your damn audio thing and restart it.
Okay. It's okay. I just play. It's fine. It fucks my eyes up, but there is nothing else to. Now I have a black screen.
No, I put it in there.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that was nice. Just
On the stream, everything looks normal. For me, it looks shit as fuck. By the way. Don't worry about it. Yeah, on stream looks everything normal. That's enough.
Yeah, you said it on
I don't care anymore. It fucks my brain up. Okay, so... Okay, what the fuck is that something? Hi! Okay. Let me see, is anyone here? No, we have to find the NPC. Ah, there it is. Okay. Okay. Nook stop. Okay. Oh yeah, we have a new home, wait. Let me check the new home. Actually, the blue roof looks not bad. Oh. Hi, turtle. Hi, turtle. We have an upgrade, not bad. It looks not bad. We have a bit more space. So that's good.
Better.
Yeah, it looks the same kind of. Okay, Happy Academia. Best that it can be. Look for moments of information. Placed in pocket. I got a lot of gifts. Okay, let's see, testing. Yeah, it's back to normal.
Yeah, but as I said, you always go to menus. I know what it is. I know the motor. I had it for 4 or 5 years.
Okay, but I'm playing in daytime. Look at the water. It actually looks better than the night one.
Okay. I told you that there are different stuff and different animals to each daytime.
I'm playing on morning right now, right? Until 12. It's morning.
I guess so, yeah.
Okay, let's check what we got. We got a lot of packages open. We got... Oh yeah, we got the Yoshi rugs and everything. No. Present, I got a present. Wooden mini table. Whatever. Oh, we have something here. Oh, we can sit down. That's nice. Here's anything? No. And anything here? Oh, shopping! Nice. Okay, that's cool.
I know.
Okay. Nook Miles ticket. I can go final adventuring. Nice, finally we can travel. Okay. I'm broke. Nice. Withdraw. Full amount because we will check the store, okay? We will check store today and see what we can do. Nook shopping. Magazine, switch light, tricycle, denim, overall glass, Hoite, one ball outdoor, water shoe, chill wave. This is the same, I guess. Yeah, the same. I don't want anything from there. Read and Nook Miles. Ah, here is the same. Still, okay. Okay. Okay, okay.
Nice.
Sure. Building a new shop. Fuck yeah.
You know what's funny? I'm loading way faster in than you. Maybe it's because
Trees
I
and rocks.
have it on my main SSD, my M.2.
Sure. How the fuck you get iron?
Yeah.
Okay. What's for sale? Candle. Handy water cooler. I'm not interested. Okay.
Stay in the bubble and let down here again.
Oh, okay.
What?
We go back and craft a fishing rod and the bug catcher. Give me a moment.
Okay, now.
Craft.
Stay at the generators. Because they reduce the explosion.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, because you have explosion protection 2140 in
Nice.
generator bubble.
Now we're gonna do the inventory what my BF said. So we're gonna...
I put the next one down because the other one is under the half. Yeah, but you want to get down as well.
They are
Yes, so
rocks and shit, so
worries.
we put it there. That's
Okay,
apple,
they bomb,
cherry.
so it's done.
seeds. Wait. And these are wood. Okay. Wait a sec, I do one more shit in my inventory. Oh, now it looks fine.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it got away. Oh, what the person is doing here?
Yes.
Okay.
You can stack them. We're done here.
There is something. We will catch it. Nice. Okay. Oh, there is something. Oh, I flied away. I was too far away. Oh, what the fuck?
Yep.
What the fuck you do? Can you wake up, please? How the fuck you wake up someone? Oh, finally! Okay, seagull. Actually, I like this character. Okay. I will look for some. I think we have to fish them out. Buried in the sand. I don't even have shit. Oh my god, I don't have a shovel, I don't have shit, it's so annoying. Oh, I got a bike. Is it a big problem? How the fuck you get a shovel? It's so annoying. Again, oh shit, there's a bottle again.
No.
Whoever finds this, I was rereading my old notes on how to become a pop star and found this fab recipe. Okay. Box shaped seed. Okay. Oh, I got a butterfly.
Oh, we're done here. Great. Hmm? Yeah, you got it?
Hi. Okay. Let's shake all the tree again. Nice. Oh, we got money. No. Nice. We got it. Sorry. Oh, there is nothing. Run, run, run! What the fuck? Okay. Okay. Okay, let me talk to the bear.
So you can show the communications.
Okay, that's great. Okay, thank God. There's something on the tree and I will be really careful going there. Don't worry about it, I can do it. Fuck. fuck? I even pressed the button. Oh god, I missed it. Oh god, I not was pressing the button fast enough. That's bad. I got stinged again. Okay, let's go to the museum and put all the shit down. Okay? Oh, hi. Nice.
Okay, that bush was so much bullshit.
Okay. 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 I sent the Diava schematics for a shovel to dig fossil. Finally, I got a shovel. For fuck's sake. Okay. Make a donation. We will donate all the shit. Okay. Okay. No. Okay. Yes. This shit. No. Yes, I have one more thing. This. Okay. Oh, we does donating already 11 items. That's great. Okay, we're gonna put down a lot of shit from our inventory right now. First. decoration. Pocket. Okay, pocket. Nice. Pocket. Yoshi rug.
Run.
Yoshi goes in the middle of the house.
That wasn't bad. After we have a lot less legendary pass. I don't know what they tried to do, but they fucked up.
Wait, I have an idea, guys.
Jesus.
We put the lamp there. And then everything what is not used, we put it there. And then we put...
Ooh. I got the fat tip pack.
Okay.
Not bad.
Okay. And then this goes
I
there.
some
And we have the
sign
3D
for
pocket.
next season.
We have one more. Pocket. Lucky too.
Hmm? Mm.
Aww. What else we have in our pocket? We can put it down. Seeds. What else I can put down? I have an idea.
Okay. That's an again gift of Mo. Yeah.
Our turtle got a leaf
Let's
there.
make some
Isn't
money.
that great? And the turtle we get the seeds. Okay?
Nah,
There you go.
thing is, I want money.
I think we are good to go.
That's why I'm buying all the advanced spare parts. I can sell it in the next season. And right now the prices are again ass. Or monetary. Good prices.
Okay. Hi turtle! Best. Let's sleep a little bit. Then get up. We got a recipe. We got a vaulting pole. What is a vaulting pole? We got a shovel. What I need for this? I need stone, I don't have stone.
Mm-hmm.
What is Island 101?
Thanks.
Okay. Nook Miles. Nice. Hop. We got something. Nice. Nice, we got it. Ooh, 500! We are so close to get the fucking tools. Damn it. Okay, we are really close. It's costing 3,000, we are really close to it. We should somehow get stone. Okay, somehow from the floor here, we should get stone, and I want to fish. Let's fish. Fishy. Oh man, fish. Shit. Fish. Come on. Come on, swim up. Yeah. Nice. I hope it's a turtle. Oh, I hope it's a fish. I will give it to the museum. I can't wait to craft the fucking shovel, by the way. I want this villager. And I like the water during daytime. Actually, the game looks way better during daytime. During night, it was so boring. For real. Oh, there's a fish. What is that? I fetched it. It's a bug. Walking leaf. Whatever. Hop, 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 hop. Fishy, fishy, fishy. I hope we get more turtles. No? No? Oh shit. I missed it. Fishy, 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 fish.
So what you must do?
Wait. Are you serious? Fishy? No? Come there. Good boy.
No.
No? Hop, 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 hop. It's a small one. I like this fish, by the way. It's like the Mario fish. I have to do a lot of.
You gotta get them on.
I know, but so I got a new home. Wait, I have to show it. You must wait. I show it to you what I did. Wait. Actually, when during daytime, I have more fun during night. During night is so boring, but here it's a bit better. We got a Yoshi rug, a Lucky 2 rug. Turtle got a home here. I have a bamboo tree, and this.
You know it gets bigger with basement and top and stuff.
You see what I did for my turtle? He has a leaf home, a campfire, cozy, on a Lucky 2, and I have a Yoshi rug. And I got stung by a wasp. I tried to catch it, but I was too slow. So I have to upgrade the museum and collect shit for it. And at the moment we're trying to build a shop, but I'm so broke I don't have shit. But the museum guy, I somehow managed to get from him because I said, please I can, because he was like, I need fossils. So he was giving me the recipe for shovel finally.
Yeah.
So but I need stone, but I don't have stone.
Yeah, that's why you should not stone.
Sorry. I want to fish a bit. Oh! What the fuck do you want again? Yeah! Donation, I need money, money, money. Please. Sorry. Please sell me something useful. The person made a shovel for me. Yeah, I'm trying to get that shit. It's 3,000. I got. Wait, what?
Yeah, the shovel. Don't place it. Yeah. Okay.
Wait. Museum? Wait.
No. Go left. Go on to the left. Left. Down. No. Down.
Oh, you can.
Hey, it is a gold. No.
I don't know.
Too far. No.
Can you not say my real name? I hope you don't know that.
You always tell my name, dude. True story. What is it now?
I don't know money. I don't care about it. We have to dig up shit for this person, but how?
There are cracks in. When there are cracks, there's an item that you can sell probably. Or no, it's an item.
Again, I wanna give it to them.
And a cricket.
I know I got the cricket already. And I got this
But
again.
you can sell it if you don't have it in the museum already.
Okay.
See, that's what.
Oh,
for-
that's a port!
Yeah, that's for him.
I need 5 ports. Okay, we have to farm it. We have to farm it. And I got a stick. I don't know if I can fight with the stick. I got a stick recipe.
You can find it.
Shit. I want that seagull as my friend. And trapping him on my island. What the? Oh, it's that spider shit. Oh, it's on the right. Can you come back? Ah, we got it! I like this shit in real life. They are cute.
I know how to fix that you're not screaming all the time.
I don't know. Can I do something with the stove? Oh,
No.
I will dig you up. I'm trying to find your parts, by the way. You said I need 5.
No.
Hop, 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 hop. Here was something.
You know you can break the tool, so don't do it.
I know, I'm trying to, but... So hard, I don't know. I don't know where I am.
It's dirty behind you. Exactly where you stand. Now you're running away. See?
But why?
You're standing on it. You must stand before it. No.
Just stop.
Oh.
Stop. It's a controlling is very different. I never played this game, but I have no idea. I think we found all the parts. Okay. Can I give the parts to him? Okay. I still need parts because the person is talking to me that way. Okay. I'm trying to find the communicator part. Okay. I hope we found all of them already. Hi. No. Okay. Do we got all the parts? Yeah, we got it. Finally. Nice. Nice. Thank you. Okay. I got something. What? Okay. We go to the museum right now.
I just got another.
What? Oh, that's how you open it. Oh, okay.
And button, another one.
We're not gonna give everything to the person. Give me a moment. Make donation. No. Yes. No. This. No. Yes. Okay. No. Nice. I'm gonna sell everything that I don't need at the moment. Give me a moment. Ooh, I found one rock. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. We got one rock. We can do the shovel. Not the shovel. We can do the other thing. Wait a sec. Yeah. Fish bait. Why not? Let's do it. Nice. We can do an axe. Film no, craft able axe. Let's do an axe, okay? Then we have an axe, and I can cut down the useless trees. Keep crafting. We can do this rod, whatever I can't. Anything else though? Okay. Then I go to this person and sell everything. I want to sell. Long look throughs, this shit. This. Confirm. Okay. Nice. Nice. I wanna talk about the shop. I wanna donate about building a shop. whatever. Let me check my inventory. Nice. Hold. I wanna cut down the trees that I don't like and it's in the way. I wanna cut them down. Like here, this one. I can't, okay. Ah, they dropping wood. I see. I forgot how many things we need for a shop. I'm sorry about that. Okay, we're gonna do a lot of wood. Okay? I'm making sure that we donate enough for a shop, okay? Nice. Okay. Nice. No way, it's already broken. That's sad. Okay. And you? Hell yeah, finally. Oh my, you have Sylvia. She's so cute. Hi, welcome. Who is Sylvia? You mean the kangaroo? Ah, you mean the kangaroo. These are my two starter villagers. Sorry, I'm 100% newbie. I don't know shit about the game and I have no idea what I'm doing. Only thing I know that I have to open a shop. I got a museum, I have to donate 5 more things and I have a seagull on my thing, but he's waiting for a pirate crew to go back home. And I have these things flying around, but I don't know how to shoot them. And other shit. Sorry, I'm 100% newbie. Let's see if we can donate some materials for the shop. Backseating is only if you want to help a ticket. I'm honest. Donate. It's still not enough. Oh my god. You have to get a slingshot for those balloons. How you get a slingshot? It's all the tool you will get. Today I was unlocking finally the shovel and something else. To be fair, it was so annoying to play for 2 days and I was like, what should I do because it's so boring. And during the night it was so boring, but during the day playing it's actually better. The day is a bit better than the night version. And I like the water. I like how the water looks like. It's way better. Okay, I'm trying to get the miles. Okay, we have 3,000, we can buy the tools. Hell yes. Nook Plus. This. Nice. Nook Miles. Nice. This one? Nice. Nice. Wait, I still have? What the hell? How? I missed one? Ah, there. Nice. If I have airport unlocked, I can bring you golden tools. I don't wanna get banned for. Wait. I have a thing to say. Wait. If you're listening, wait. I was figuring out that we have something called treasure islands. I was so interested to join one and just get the materials I want, but I was finding something really interesting. Nintendo actually banning people for getting items. I was seeing a lot of Twitter status updates. I saw some Reddit posts, and I saw a Facebook post too with Nintendo email showing up that hey, you was violating the rules. So they started to look after it. So be careful. I just saw it. And my boyfriend said, please don't do it, get the items naturally because I don't want the console to be bricked. I'm like, okay, I won't because I wanna play Yoshi games. But yeah, I just don't want to risk it. It's a quick update. You can join my thing if you want. I don't know how we do that. I don't know how you join an island or how you do that, so I will be happy if you ask me. I have an airport. Thank you for the follow. Oh my god, that's so cute. Oh my god, like the water. Oh my god, bow! Don't bow, please! Don't bow, shit! You unlock the recipe after certain points in the game. Oh god. But that's so slow. For 2 days I was playing and I literally had nothing to do, and after a hour and a half I was done. And today I just unlocked some shit I can do, but I have no rock, nothing. Oh no. I have this seagull here with waiting for its members. I call it a pirate ship. I like him. I wish I could keep him. He is looking nice. So I should go to the airport, right? Wait. We do this way. I'm going to the airport, right? And then where what? Hi. The tutorial part of a game is very slow and featured, but it does speed up. Fuck yeah, I'm very happy to hear it. So if you want to join my world, how we do that? I will be happy to play with someone. Alone is a bit meh. I got a Nook Miles ticket from Toon Nook. What? Oh yeah, I got something. I wanna fly. Got it? Okay. I don't want to fly it. How you join my world? Should I go to visitors? Hi guys, by the way, welcome everyone. Hi.
Maybe you should go first in the settings and deactivate that people can destroy stuff in your island.
What?
First of all.
Where settings?
Sorry,
no, don't do. Okay,
in your phone.
Sure, I do. Wait a moment. BF said, nice shit, wait. Passport. There are no settings. Rescue service. Where are the settings? Wait, before we do that, where are the settings for, what? How do you do the settings? Before we do that, how do you do the settings? BF said I should do it. Oh my god, you like sound alerts, I see. Okay. And PI, you like the sounds. Okay, got it. You love them. Okay. You are like Bagel. Nice. So Bumblebee, how we do the settings before we do the code? BF said I should do it. I'm that newbie, I'm so sorry. What the fuck? What button I press? Okay. It's phone. Rescue service. No. For protecting your island, my BF says someone can join and destroy items. He is just cautious. How we do the settings? I'm not sure what settings he means. Same either. Same either. Never mind. Okay, we do the code. Please don't do shit in my island, please. I have barely anything. Okay, please be nice. Online play. Please be nice. Don't do shit, please. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. be nice. Okay. Be nice. No, I have no idea where are the settings. I wish I knew cause someone came to my island and wait, cause someone came to my island and stole all my crops. Now I have to fetch the area and someone is picking up and then doing. I see. Okay. Only my friends. The more the merrier. Oh my god, you like the fart. You're welcome. You're welcome. I was adding the sound alert. So invite anyone. I think that's fine.
Done.
Are you here, Bumblebee? This is the code. Are you here, Bumblebee? Yeah, I did anyone. This is the code, please. This time the code. Okay. I wait a moment. Tell me if you wrote it down. Okay.
Hold on a second.
Heading to my airport. Okay, got it. Please end conversation. What the fuck is wrong? I got it. Okay. Just so you know, the game opens a bit and may show up anytime. There may be possible one full of playing with the call and you want to keep out the ramble. Let me know and I close the gate. Okay.
Yeah, it's Rego.
Saving. Okay, the shit is saving. What the fuck is... Oh no. What? That's not me?
No.
I think it's on now from the sound alerts. That's not me yet. Okay, how we do the settings? We have to do the settings real fast.
I know.
Yeah, I figured it out, don't worry about it. Baba?
I mean, I'm dating the game, I have over 1,200 hours in the game.
Tropical. Okay, hi. Baba, settings please.
Somewhere in your phone, I don't know. I'm in the event. I don't have shit time for that.
Okay. Okay, anyone joined it, please be nice. Don't be an asshole.
Nah, I take the little book.
Hi. Don't. What is don't? Okay.
Ich wär's Flammen.
I don't know what's happening.
Nicht so tief, Rüdiger, nicht so tief.
Hi. You want to catch bugs? Okay, I guess that's fine. I hope you are not a hacker, otherwise I will hurt. Okay, you can catch bugs and fish. Okay, be nice. I will do the something. My BF say something. Wait. No. What is this? I got an app, chat log. Oh, we have chat. Have you chat? Wait. Hi! I can chat, hey. Hi. I did chat!
My girlfriend, she was screenshot out in the corner.
I did chat! Wait. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, Bumblebee, you're next. I'm waiting for you. Bumblebee. Bumblebee. I like your name, by the way. It sounds really nice. Bumblebee. We're having a party over my island, guys. Hi. We're having a party. Gonna drink water all day night. Brianna, that's you? I'm on my way. Hi. Oh, your name is Brianna. Oh, nice. That's a new name. Bumblebee Brianna. I like the sound of that. You should be a VTuber like that, Bumblebee Brianna. Fuck yeah, sounds good to me. VTuber. And you're gonna have a huge ass curly hair. Imagine the physics. Just don't think about the money, it's gonna be expensive. Don't get my suggestions, it's gonna be expensive. Oh my god, you look so chill. I like your outfit. The dress I'm wearing, I made a pattern. And I used a heart, and when I was done it looked like clouds. And like it's a cloud dress and I like it. I tried to make a nice contrast, but I ended up a bit weird. Hi! Girls party! Let's go! Hi! Oh my god, you do bubbles. You have bubbles. You do yoga and dancing. Oh, nice. Oh, what the fuck you guys do, emotes? I don't have anything. I got medicine. How do you do medicine? Wait. I wanna do medicine, give me a moment. I got sidetracked. I will try to make medicine, give me a moment. I will try to make medicine. How do you do medicine? By the way, welcome everyone to the stream. We are doing crazy stuff over my island. Let's craft. Medicine. I need weed and wasp nest. Fun fact, I sold everything already. Isn't that great? I sold everything already. I don't have shit. I can't make medicine. That's great. I tried to pay off the scammer. I'm sorry, guys. Where is everyone? Where is everyone? Why is everyone gone?
Or in your house.
I don't know. Where is everyone? There is no one. How everyone got gone? What happened? Oh, hi. So what you wanna do? Wait, I see a bug. But I think I was donating that one already. What's that on the floor? Oh, that's medicine, thank you. Take medicine. Yeah, I'm looking nice again, thank you! Oh my god. Yeah! You're nice. I like you, Anna. I like you. Thank you. I'm just running around with you guys. I forgot to put my net and stuff in my pocket outlet. Can I be your GFs? I don't know what you talk about. I have a boyfriend for 8 years and soon marrying him. Sorry about that. Crushing your dreams.
I go to the main subject.
Okay. So what now? I mean, I have a shop. What I have to do? I wanted to make a road so I can jump over and see my island because I have no idea what is on my island. Oh, thanks, I made it. It's a dress. It looks bad, but I will upgrade it. I was checking a website with all the items and there is actually one dress I like. It's a Vietnamese authentic dress, tie-dye, and I love it. It just looks cute as fuck and I want it. And there's a lot of cinnamon roll items. I want all cinnamon roll. I want all of them. Cinnamon roll is the best. In my opinion, cinnamon roll is the best. Okay, so I have to... Did Tom give you more tools yet? You need the Whirlpool to get across the river and you can build a bridge. I have a Whirlpool. Wait, how you craft that? Wait, I check how you craft it. I think I got it. Wait, the Whirlpool is for a crossing? Oh, that makes sense. Let's craft. Craft a vaulting pole. Ah, yeah, I have salt food. I wanna craft an axe so I can get more wood because I'm broke as fuck. I got the pole. Wait. I got it, and now what? Okay, wait. Okay, got it. Ah! Please don't collect anything from my island. Please no, please no, please. Stop it. Stop it, please.
It's just flowers, that's okay.
But I need to read.
They're growing back.
Wait, really?
They're growing back, don't worry.
Oh shit! I thought it's only one time.
No. And you get later a letter so you can climb up and stuff.
What, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Holy shit.
Don't worry, it takes some flowers, they'll just grow back.
Okay, good to know. I really have no idea about the game. No ladder, exactly. What is this hole in the ground? What? I have a hole in the ground. Wait, that's wrong.
Oh yeah, there's a fossil.
Wait, I need to get used to the... I got the fossil. That's great. Oh shit. I did it! I don't know why, but the shovel is a bit weird for me. I need to get used to it. Wait, there's a lot of shit here. I wanna get all of them. Oh my god. Yeah, I will. To the owl guy, yeah. The owl guy. I can be here on the rock, that's nice. If this is the first time. This is the first time I see my island actually. I seriously have no idea how it looks. Sorry I'm broke, don't say you made I'm broke as fuck, I'm so sorry about that. I'm broke. What is here? I don't know.
Oh, did they give you a stick?
No, I crafted.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, pockets are full. Oh shit. There are some shit here too.
Yeah, just our main subject.
What's there? My pockets are full. Let's clean the axe. Oh, thank you. Yeah, swap it. Swap it with I don't know what this. Swap it. Thank you. No. Wait, I will do this. Thank you. Nice. So I can do axing now. Wait. Wait. No, wait. Oh shit. I need the wood to build a shop. Please don't collect my wood, I need it for the shop, that's why I'm cutting. Please. Trying to do a quest.
Yeah, but the problem is if you not turn the death marker on, it doesn't show up.
Bumblebee, you here? I'm talking to Sylvia. Please don't collect my wood, I told you. I need it for the shop, please. I know you listen to the stream, please. Stop. Please don't collect the fucking wood. Please, I need it for the shop. I'm not cutting it for anything else. I'm talking to Sylvia. I cannot. Who is Sylvia? I don't know who is Sylvia. It's not your wood, it's my island. Yeah, I see that. Wait, how do you click on a player? Can you somehow... How do you click on a player? problem solved. Bumblebee, you here? Bumblebee, you here? Or you got out too? Bumblebee? You here? Bumblebee, can you join, Bumblebee? Please join. I want you to be here, but no one else. Yeah, I'm like, I do it for the shop. I'm not cutting it because I will give it to someone else, you fucking idiot. That was so annoying. Okay. I have an idea, Bumblebee. Give me a moment. I have a great idea. Give me a moment. Bumblebee, I have an idea. Give me a moment.
Yeah,
wait. I have a great idea. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait.
It has bleeding. It has frost instead of
I have
radiation.
an idea. Okay, Bumblebee. Bumblebee, can you turn on whispering so I can write to you? Bumblebee, can you turn on whispering, please? Bumblebee, please, I wanna write to you. Please. Can you turn it on, please? Hello? Bumblebee? Please? Hi. It's in settings on Twitch. You currently blocking anyone being able to write to you on Twitch. Oh my god, thank you for the follow. Thank you. Okay, I can write to you now. Thank you. I will write to you. Give me a moment. Bumblebee, I'm writing to you now. Wait. Sort him. Hi. Wait, Bumblebee, I'm writing to you, okay? I'm whispering to you. 0, not 0. Okay. There's this one. Bumblebee, I wrote to you. There you go, Bumblebee. You're welcome. Please don't share it with anyone. Okay. I'm waiting for you here. Hi, Bumblebee. You're gonna be my new best friend in Animal Crossing. We're gonna have a lot of fun. I have Nook Miles. Okay. In the meantime, I will try and donate the shit to the museum if you give me a moment. Miles. Nice. Okay. So I'm going to the museum while you're joining, okay? Sure, I will. Thank you. Hi, Anna. No, Anna, you won't join because you're stealing my shit. Trying to do a damn quest. Let's donate. Let me see. Fossil. You're welcome. Okay. Finally. What? No way! Hell yes. That's great, I like that shit. Please do it. Wow, that's great. Yeah, it is. That was actually a nice thing. What the fuck that happened on my... Anna. No. Hell no. Sorry. Bumblebee, you can join, I'm waiting for you. I will... Are you serious? The person is spamming. Block. There you go. Problem solved. Oh shit, there is nothing. There is nothing. This one.
I don't know this one.
If the person's angry, yeah. Just block it. Just block it, don't worry about it, just block it.
I think you guys are faster than me. That's all.
I think it's a child. Opa. I like these rocks things. In Bumblebee, imagine we put not a chair, you know, a bench or something. I'm making the Devil May Cry meme here. The Devil May Cry meme. Fuck yeah. Here is there something in the sand. Okay. I really need to get used to the shoveling here. It's so hard. Oh, I got it. Oh, there's something more. Oh shit. I really need to get used to the shoveling, it's a bit hard for me. Look around, someone is on their way here. Hi Bumblebee, thank you for visiting. I need to do my hole, give me a moment. I was digging a hole in the sand. We can be friends. Brianna, we can be friends, don't worry about that, we can be friends. I actually want to eat some chocolate or something, I don't know. I feel like eating some snacks. On the morning I was eating some chocolate yogurt, mini croissant, you know, called a brioche or broche, how you say it, and some lukewarm milk. Best breakfast ever, what I had today. I had it with my boyfriend. It was so nice. You know, it makes you full, but you don't eat so much, just a little bit, and makes you full. It's so good. Welcome back, Brianna. Okay, I'm gonna fix the sound. Give me a moment. Why I'm bugged? Wait, never mind, it's fixed. I'm gonna fish this. Let's see what we get. Oh shit. Of course it's good. That's healthy. Healthy life. What I don't have. I'm waiting for the fish. Don't worry about it. I'm waiting for the fish. Slowly, patience. See, patience. The wind and fish. What? I like that fish. It's a guppy. Metacore. Swap it. Oh shit, I'm full. Sure, you can. Go ahead and catch some bugs. I don't mind that. I'm gonna donate the fish to the museum. How can I add you to my friend list here? I have no friends on Nintendo. It will be my first friend. How you do that? I wanna learn it. How you add friends? I not was hearing the soundtrack for a while. Oh, that's nice. Okay, nice. Do you know what your friend code is on Switch? If you so visually to me, I will add you. I will do that on stream. Or I can do it now too. I just hide my screen. Give me a moment. Hide screen. Have you invite about friends? Oh, I see. Wait, I can do it. Give me a moment. Add friend, incoming note, search with friend code. Search for players you played with. Bumblebee. I found you, Bumblebee. I gonna add you. Send friend request, Bumblebee. I did it. Oh, wait, I go back to the game. And you have guys to screen. There you go. There you go. I added you, Bumblebee. We're gonna be Animal Crossing friends. How I did drifting? I did a drift. Hi. Let me see if I can. You know what I wanna do from the last stream? We still try to get a lot of turtles. With turtles, we're gonna make a turtle army. I wanna put down a lot of turtles. Now we can join each other via our friends and can get unless they are. Oh, that's great. That's nice. Okay. I was building a shop. I had to what? A bagel? Hi, bagel. Look, Idigar, what happened yesterday? What do you mean, bagel? Are you okay, bagel? I was like, yesterday, what happened? Are you okay, bagel? Bro, are you fine? You're my big bro. Are you fine? I won't say the next B word, but you know what I mean. Okay. Nice. Yes, I wanna craft a fish shit. This. I was supposed to be chilling with Feroni, but she was busy. Oh, I see. Oh, I forgot to sell that shit, wait. If Silver the kangaroo is ever moving out and you don't want to keep her, please let me know. If I have an open plot, I will take her in. Please take her in because I don't like her. And you can take my bear too if you want. I don't like her. And I don't like the bear. I'm sorry, I don't necessarily like them. I want the rabbit, the llamas, and you know, all the cute ones. I'm really selective with my native fellow. Yeah, you know what I mean. Okay, we're done here. Wait a sec. Let me think. What the fuck we have to do? What we have? We have still a shovel. We don't have shit because rocks. I will pick this up. You can take Sylvia. I don't know when she's moving out. I hope soon. And I hope you will have a place for her. Okay? Your mission. Your mission. Oh, you have a koala? I would love to have a koala. I love koala. My island is sanctuary because I wanna make it look really naturally and really interesting, but that's all. Wait, can I talk to the person again? Oh, okay. Oh, nice! That's great. Have fun with them. I will look through all of the NPCs and how you can get them, and I will only get them. I won't get anything else. Only the ones I like.
Next one, please don't upgrade.
Okay, I wanna try fishing, but with the fish bait. Let's find a big fish and put the big, so we catch something big. Okay? I wanna catch something big this time and donate it. Nope. By the way, Bumblebee, I like the seagull. How can I keep him? He's gonna go away after the crew found, but how can I keep him? I want to keep the seagull. I think there's a fossil. Wait, I think there's a fossil.
I killed some on the pond.
No, wait. Shit. I think I found a fossil. Oh, that's great. Nice. There's one more! Bro, we cooking today. We cooking today. What is this? The book what I found here. I found a bridge. I can do shit here. There's a fish, but it's small. That's a bigger one. That's a bigger one. Right. idea. Big fish! Can I do one more time? I want bigger. Oh shit. That said I can keep him. I got a puffer fish! I got the puffer fish! Ah, I like the puffer fish. He gives you unique globally influential items after you do cheap parts for... I did the parts already. Okay. I wanted to keep him, he looked nice. That's all.
Against space program?
Can I? Can you? No, shit. I'm trying my best, trust me. No, we got a seahorse! No way! Oh my god, I love a seahorse. Oh, I love seahorse. That bridge is going to have a boat with a caracat that takes you to Mystery Island for 1,000 nuke miles each. What the fuck? Lol? You know where I wanna go? I wanna go to that point. It looks interesting. Can I? Can I or I can't? Shit. Wait, there is a mini water here. There is a mini water up there. That's interesting. It's also how you will unlock the cafe into new. We gotta have a coffee. That's. Oh, you catch the bug! Hi! You catch the bug! Good job! You catch the bug! Hi! I'm trying to fish at the moment. It's so much fun. There's something again. It's so much fun when you play with someone. It's way much more fun. Oh, but I got this ugly fish again. Ah, shit, I'm full again. Yeah, this. I'm gonna go to the museum because I'm full again. Yeah, it's all is so shit. And then you try to get items, but it's all the time like, okay, how you do this, how you do that, it's so annoying. It's not like Minecraft where I can just gather and craft it. It's way different and I need to get used to it. Wait, this is not a museum. Wait, too much shopping. I got sidetracked. Wait. I got sidetracked. You have to go to the museum. By the way, Bumblebee, don't you want this bear? I will donate it to anyone, just take it because I don't like how he looks like. Just take him away. You can be your hostage, I don't care, I don't like him. Make donation. I wanna do the seahorse first. I love seahorses. Yeah. Yes. Aww. That's cute. Yes, I have. Why can't I donate the fossils? Why I can't donate them? Okay. I think because I was donating it already. I just can't give it to him, so I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna sell everything that is in my inventory. Bumblebee, you need any of these fossils. I don't know what the fuck is this. I can't donate it. You want it? I'm gonna drop it here. I'm gonna drop them. Wait. It's here, okay? You just take it. Drop. Just try and donate it. I don't know if you have it or not. Just try it. Okay? Okay, let me see the crafting. I can craft more fish bait. Okay, keep crafting. Nice. Keep crafting. Let's see if we can do something else. Craft table, flimsy shovel. I don't need a shovel. Flimsy axe. No, I don't have stuff. Shit. Okay, let's sell. Sure, good luck. Good luck with donation. Maybe you don't have it. By the way, I wanted to ask you for a while, what is this sand dollar? I always sell them. Oh, sure. Okay, I'm gonna go here. Give me a moment. ABD. Confirm. Nice. You set them or use them to make the mermaid item and shells. What the fuck is that? Once you get the rep. I have no idea what is that, but thank you for letting me know. There's so many things I don't know. I just saw the items and there are shit ton of items. I'm like, what I'm supposed to do? How you get them? Like, I love the bamboo items. How you get bamboo? That was in my mind when I saw it first, like items and shit. It's... what's that? Puppy plushie. What is a puppy plushie? Place item. Wait, I go to my house and check the plushie. I love plushie. What is this? Wait, what is this? How do you get bamboo recipe? I have to check so many tutorials. Fuck. Wait. It's rude to decorate when you have company, but what if I want to decorate? What then? Oh shit. Oh no way! It moves and wigs its tail. No way. That's cute. That's fucking cute. Wait, wait. Shit. That's why I have mentally problems. Wait. Give me a moment. I remember what I wanted to do. It's an issue. I forget really fast some stuff. Wait. I know what I wanted to do. Wait. I remember. Give me a sec. This? Nook Miles. And I wanted to buy this. Pretty good tools. Fuck yeah. Read them. Fuck yeah. I bought it. Nice. Okay, let me see if I can buy more shit. Pocket Organizer Guide. I would love to buy that. Pop hairstyles. Cool hairstyles. How I'm liking the game. Bagel is getting a bit better. It was really annoying and boring on the first days. But from today it's a bit better because I got someone to play it with. And I just developed myself. What are the cool, stylish and pop hairstyles? Cool. Let's do stylish. Not enough miles. Then let's do cool ones. What is the cool ones? Read them. What you mean allergies, bro? Alright, ah, you have allergies? Wait, I need a mirror. Shit. Ah, I see. Okay, what you wanna do, Bumblebee? You wanna do anything? We can do something if you want. Nah, it's fine, don't worry. He reminds me of school when friends try to give you... Oh my god, Bagel. Shit, man. Bagel, I will never forget one of your streams. You're welcome, I make your chat alive. You're welcome, bro. I mean... What you wanna do, Bumblebee? We can do something together. I don't mind it. Just let me know. I'm mainly done with my island. I know I have to clean it up and doing shit like that. But besides that, there is nothing much left. You'll be doing nothing. What you mean, Bagel? It's so hard to catch your streams. You dummy. And when I do, I make your chat alive. There was one person stroking his stick. You should be really grateful to me. You should be grateful to me. I will never forget that experience. And you say, oh no, don't ban it. I'm like, you sure? Ah, don't ban it. Okay. You know it better, Ro. You know it. Sure. I will never forget this. It's traumatized in my brain. Do you want to visit my island and I get a mirror and some bells for you? Sure, you don't have to give if you don't want. But sure, we can visit your island. I'm not asking for shit, don't worry about it. I appreciate support, that's fair enough, but just don't overdo. I don't have anything to give to you, like I'm broke. I can give you wood, that's all I can do. You want wood? I can give you wood, that's all I can offer, sadly. I'm sorry, I don't have shit. Ooh, we got new tools. We can craft a stone axe, a normal axe, and normal shovel. Fuck yeah. He was unlocking. And I have a better watering can. I unlocked it. Aren't you not proud of me? I think I have plenty. I am restarting my island currently, so I have so much stuff. Why are you restarting an island? You should not. You work so hard. Gonna be thrown away. Bro. Gonna be thrown away. Okay, let's end the session and I will somehow join your island. I have no idea how. How you end session? It's already forgot. Never mind, I have no idea how to do that. I can't go to the airport. I know I can. Weird. Oh, I can't sit down. Oh, can I sit down here? Can I sit down? I can't, shit. Oh, Bumblebee is leaving. Oh, that's sad. Bro is leaving. Safe travels. Oh. Sure. I will close my gate so I can join you. I will close it. We are shutting down, guys. Party over. Thank you. We are shutting down the party, as you said. I will wait for you, I don't know how you do it. I will wait for you, don't worry about it. I will drink some. You know what? I do a 2-minute break while you set it up. I go to toilet and drink water and shit, okay? Give me a moment. Soon back. Oh shit, sorry, misclick. Hi, I'm back. Wait. Yeah, I'm back. Hi. No, it was not good. My island currently is going to be so next once I'm the icy, so it must. I can understand that. Welcome back, thank you, bagel. Thank you, bro. Hi. You're a big bagel. BBB. You know what I mean, with a triple B. So. My brain. Give me a moment, my brain is loading. My brain is loading, give me a moment. Ah, yeah, I wanted to join Beyond the World. Fuck my brain. That's why you drink water.
Hey, Rogu. No, Rogu makes sense.
One sec opening. Sure. I don't know how you
know.
invite or join, so.
Look at this shit. No, I don't get attention. Don't worry. I mean, just.
I'm gonna drink all of my water, fuck yeah. Water best shit. And later I'm gonna eat chicken leftovers, I'm gonna make burgers. It's open for friends.
Nah, you know
You
what?
wanna
Because
fly
I buy them all the
online,
time,
okay.
So after the season,
Okay, give me a
when the
moment.
next season
Give me a
begins,
moment, I'm doing it right now.
I can sell
Give me
them
a
for
moment.
85,000.
I'm closing my
My
water
goal is to
bottle.
get 1,000 of these to sell them.
Give me a moment. So,
So, yeah.
I wanna fly.
Because if you think about it, if I'm succeeding by selling them as well, it's around 85 million.
Online.
That's great. Good job.
Okay, Roger.
And May.
Search for a friend. Best friends list. Oh wow. It's the first time I'm doing it as you see.
Yeah. You in the screen share? Can you see it? Or spare parts? Yeah, my goal is 1,000 or more.
Yeah, let's fly. I'm going to you, Brianna. Hi, I'm going to you. I did it. I'm trying. I did it. The stuff in sections right of my airport is because for a few people to come
Well,
get.
it's not for
If you
personal
can
use.
do anything here, just leave the stuff.
It's
Okay,
for
I
selling
won't
it,
pick
like,
up anything, don't worry.
after the season. Yeah, when they jump again up to 85.
Why I can join you, Brianna?
Well, I'm ready.
Okay. Wait, we do it again, wait, we do it again. The bird is not getting the airplane, I'm assuming. The airplane is not here to pick me up.
Let's see.
Try search again. Why the airplane is
I
not
would
here?
go for A. Because it's closer. Oh, for all those people too. Nice. Piece of candy.
Okay. Wait, I try it again, give me a moment. I try it again. Nope. I will wait for your Dodo call and I will hide the stream, okay? I will hide it. I will wait for you. Bagel, you here? Bagel? Bagel. Not Bagel. I don't want Bagel. You know who I want? Bagel-chan. I wanna talk to Bagel-chan. Please bring your sister over to chat, okay? Bagel, bring your sister. I wanna talk to Bagel-chan. Okay? I wanna talk to Bagel-chan. You know why? It's time for period, bitch! We gonna get a period soon. It's again that time of the month. Bagel-chan. I felt so desperate. I felt so fucking weird yesterday. Oh my god. Are you feeling the same, Bagel-chan? Aren't your double D's hurting during period? By the way, aren't your double D's hurting? Yeah, oh, I feel you, girl. I feel you. Your double D's. Phew, I can't imagine the pain you're having. Shit, man. Oh boy. I know you feel it there. It's pain in the ass. For real. Aside all the joking, it's really pain in the ass. Don't worry, Bumblebee. Take your time, don't worry about it. I have time. After I'm done streaming and cooking, actually I will continue and finishing the third outfit for the fashion contest. Bagel, I don't wanna get cancelled. Be careful because I'm streaming a Nintendo game. Okay, this is serious shit. Bagel, you fucking ass. God damn it, Bagel. You're gonna get it back. You started it, hell no. Bitch, I'm not. Wait, Bumblebee, I gonna hide the screen. And wait, wait. No, wait, I'm doing the code. So. Uh-huh. Okay, I think I did it. Bumblebee, I think I did it. Wait, let's fly. I won't put the screen back until I don't see that I'm getting to you, okay? Give me a moment.
Oh, so I see it's church. Yeah.
Wait. You have to see this. Look at the bird. We did it. Wait. We did it. You see it? We did it. Wait. See? The bird was so happy. Sorry, I'm not able to show. Look, there's a little bird! That's the pilot bird! Holy shit, it's the first time I'm flying. It looks so cool. That's the airplane. I'm riding a bird. No, oh, that's the airplane. Ah. The loading icon on the screen is the airplane. Oh, that's so cute. I have a green, blue, white airplane. You know how much I love? I love the pilot. Can I have the pilot as a friend? I want the pilot. Best shit ever. Pilot. I love the pilot. He was waving there. Oh my god. That was so funny. Oh my god, that was so cute, bro. Oh my god. That was so cute. Holy shit. Holy shit. You have a different type of sky. It looks like Aurora. Oh wow, hi! It looks like Aurora, holy shit. Wait, I wanna check the sky, give me a moment. Can I get close to the sky? Wait, what? You have houses, that was great. You have houses, oh wow. I wanna check the sky. Can I get close to the sky, please? I wanna get close to the sky. Yes. Oh my god. I love it. Sorry I ran all the way here, but I love it so much. It looks so cool. Look at this. I could watch this all day. I could watch this all day. I love the sky. What's the time for you? Wait, can I see the time? Ah, it's 6:50 AM. It's still morning for you. I have soon 1 PM. Holy shit. Hi. Holy shit, we have a huge time difference. Holy shit. That's crazy. No, you have a flower there. Wait, you have a flower. Oh my god. Have you got flowers? That looks cute. I love this. Oh, my language, we call this harang virag. I don't know in English. I love this one. This one. This. Ooh, that looks interesting. Ooh, Valentine's flower. Bumblebee, protection first. I see why you put it here. Protection first, I got it. If someone is going here, grab it and done. I got you. Scary colors got you. Can I sit down? Yeah! That's so cool. Oh my god, your fence is so nice. It has stars and a gradient shit in it. That's so cool. The white you get when your island hits 5-star in the lily of the valley. That's nice. You have a car, you rich. You are rich. I still like this. I can't forget the memes with the chainsaw. Just grab it and scare others. Best shit ever. I don't know if you know the memes. That's the mermaid fence. If you come in, I will show you the mermaid furniture. Sure. Wait, I tried to get in, don't worry about it. Knocking! You have a dog? Wait, that's the puppy plushie you was giving to me? That's a plot. What? What? Wow. Wow. Oh, it stopped moving. It's moving. Holy shit. That's so crazy. You have a full ass kitchen. Holy shit. Which way you was going? Your house is big. Wait. Yeah. This way? Wait, it's so dark in here. You're gonna give me to the basement with all the knives? No. Oh, that's the wrong way. Sorry. Oh, I see you. Hi. Ah, there is upstairs. Oh. We're going to your room. Sexy time. Oh shit, man. Wait, I can do camera. I learned it yesterday. You can turn the camera. I like this wardrobe and these things here. They are nice. I have a Yoshi rug and a Makitu rug. Shelves to my... Oh, nice. That's great. Wait, can I try your mirror? I wanna see the hairstyles I bought. How do you check the mirror? Should I change it up? Yeah, change it up. Wait, I wanna check the hairs I bought. Give me a moment. Hairstyles. I was unlocking hairstyles. Wait, oh shit, misclick. Wait, how do you do it? Wait, where are the hairstyles? No. No. Actually, it still looks not bad. No.
Okay, the other 250 bomb does not.
Oh god, I chose the wrong one. I like... I don't know.
Yeah, the cluster 250.
Can I have more eyes? No. This is fine. I did this hairstyle. I'm looking like a true Korean. What you can do here? Oh wow, can I do something here? What? Okay. Can I sleep? Have you? Ah! Oh my god, I like your style. No way. You're a gamer too. Why you have two setups? Do you have a boyfriend? I have a boyfriend next to me. You even have an iPad. Holy shit, you're rich. That's a true boyfriend setup here. I see it. Yeah, that's a true boyfriend setup here. I can imagine it with mine too. On your island, you can dream when you lay in your bed. What you mean dreaming? I have a son who plays it. Holy shit, you're a mother? How old are you? You're already a mother. Oh my god, I never imagined that. I hope you're fine. I know kids can be annoying. I hope you're fine. I hope yours is good. I hope it's good. If it's not a good boy, spank the ass. Don't. No problem. You're 26 and you already have a son. Are you okay? I'm 22, son 23, and my boyfriend is 25, but we're still waiting. No rush. Oh, what? What? But why it's water? How? Wait. How it's water? I don't understand. What? How the floor can... Is it a glitch? You made a glitch here that the water came inside? You had 3 children, 26. Bro, giving birth is so hard. Giving birth is so painful and hard. Oh my god. Congrats. Holy shit. I hope you're fine. And by the way, fun fact, my boyfriend wanted to have child. You know one of the reasons? Because your boobs are growing. Not only for the child, but he wants the extra necessities that is coming with it. Not only the child, and you have to take care of it, no problem. But your booba is growing, and he's like, I wonder what size you're gonna get. I'm like, bro, I'm happy if I can give birth, you idiot. I'm happy if I can give birth, you fucking ass. Oh, I really hope you're happy. I'm happy. I'm happy if you're happy. We have plushies here. Can I sit? Wait, it's moving. Can I sit on it? No, ah shit. I know. I bet you'll say the same too once in their life. I bet you'll say it too once in a while. I bet it. Ain't fucking way not. Ain't way not. Man is man. Man is man. What is here? Why? You have one more door here. Oh, ooh, it's the bathroom. Can you take a bath? No. Can I do the weight check? No. Can I take a shower? Why the I can't take a shower. Oh, can I do laundry? No. Can I? No. Can I use toilet? No, shit. The sink? What? No, don't change it. You can use the toilet after you food. Wait. Checking right now. I eat the apple. Eat one. Fuck yeah. I use the apple in order to do research. It's for research. I'm sitting on a toilet. Fuck yeah. Don't worry, I was flushing it. You heard it? I flushed it. Don't worry about it. You won't see the poop. here? I'm curious. This is the last shit we have to check.
Maybe
I'm curious. What's here? It's a big ass house. Ah, you're not done building it. You know what, Bumblebee? This room gonna be all yours. You have for your children, you have the gamer boyfriend set up. Everyone's satisfied, and this gonna be your hidden room where you can just chill, you know? This gonna be your room only. Chilling. That's my idea. Everyone is satisfied, and now you can do yours for chilling. I'm coming out. Okay, I'm here. Oh, it's snowing. Wait, what that snowflake doing there? Can I catch the snowflake? You can catch snowflakes? No, I can't. No. It's gone. Aww. I thought you can catch them, sorry. I'm like, can you catch snowflakes? Sorry. When I'm done, I'm having fun, darling.
Huh?
I'm having fun.
I know, but it is
You
already 13, that's why I'm asking if we
You can start.
Huh?
You can start if you
I
want.
must do event.
I'm having fun during stream.
I know, just...
Gamer...
But as when we...
When we, I don't know, I will, after I'm down here, okay? He is getting hungry, as you say. Medicine. Convocate my spooky fucking farm. You have a fucking farm. Wait, there is something on the ground. You forgot something there on the ground. You see my screen, you forgot something there. There is something on the ground. Where are you? Where are you? I hear noises. What the fuck is this person? It's okay if I buy... Oh shit, I'm broke, don't worry. I was paying off my loan, sorry. The sound is so wait. Whoa. That's so cool. You have peaches! Oh my god, you have peaches. I love peaches. Oh, wait, this is a Halloween themed garden. You can sit down and have a meal. Oh my god. I like this pumpkin, it's my favorite. What? I closed it?
Yeah, that's why
I opened it!
Because
Oh my god,
sheet
it's
generator,
so cute. Oh my god.
go in your inventory and look
Holy
at
shit.
the explosion protector.
You can close it. Open. Holy shit. I have all fruits over here. Take some.
Yep.
Where are you? I'm following you.
That's why I put it always near the generator.
I will collect some peaches if you don't mind. I love peaches in real life too, if you don't mind it. I really love peach. I'm gonna get 6, that's all, so I can plant 6 peach tree, okay? That's all I'm gonna do, nothing else. So I have 6 peaches and I don't know, 3 pear, and then that's all. Wait, which button was it again? I have cherry because the mother of this character was sending me 3 cherry. Okay, that's all I wanted. Anything else? I don't think so. No, that's all. That's all I collected, okay? That's all. Yeah. I have apple. I have cherry. Wait, I have apple. I have cherry. Take some coconuts if you don't have. You have coconuts in game. What the fuck? Coconut. Wait, coconut. Holy shit. I will take something. Only have 2 on the tree. I will take like. That's 4. Wait, that's 4. Wait. I can't get it. I don't see shit here. Wait. I'm sorry, I see shit. Found it! And I do 1 more tree so I have a full batch like the others, okay? That's all. Nothing else. That's all. What you wanted to... Oh, that's the boat you was talking about. Ah. I see. So the gamer setup is all yours. Thank God. Nothing for boyfriend. What the fuck is this? I won't shake it. What is this? That's a... Wait, that looks like the money bag. It's a money tree? That's wow. No boyfriend here. Oh man, that's sad. What is this? Froggy chair, wooden block chair, froggy chair, froggy chair. You have so much froggy chair. What the fuck? Why you have so much froggy chair? Holy shit. Why you have so much wood? Whoa, why you have so much? What is this? Golden leather setup kit. Golden leather setup. That's gold nugget. Capricorn ornament. 3 bounty mobile. 3 bounty mobile. They are all different colors. No fucking way. Gemini closet. I have a Cancer. Wine outfit. What the fuck? Stone table. Project table. Archon picture. Rose bed. What? Fruit red alien rocket.
Yeah, but I make sure little boy if they run towards
Magic Academy. You have Magic. What is Magic Academia? We can have magic in here. I'm interested in that.
You can.
Penguin! You have a penguin! Oh no. I love penguins! You have a penguin! Holy shit! Golden slingshot, golden mod, golden net. You have full golden armor. You have golden armor. Oh, you have full set golden armor. Wow. Cinnamon! You have cinnamon roll! No way you got cinnamon roll! Holy shit! I will collect all cinnamon roll too. That looks like a Final Fantasy character for real. That looks like a Final Fantasy cocksword. The red sandwich. I'm sorry I'm broke, I'm so sorry. I would have bring money if I noticed. I would have bring money. Shit. This is a cactuar, take care of him, okay? Take care of the cactuar. That's like a Final Fantasy cactuar, take care of it. What is Fluteroid, Boyogoid, Orphroid, Bubbloid, Petaloid, Laserloid, Squeakoid, Bubbloid, Blueboid, Clutteroid, Tremoloid, Squeakoid, Tokoid, Dotoid, Twangoid, Twangoid, Viroid, and Clutteroid. What is this? That's... You have orange! Ah, we have orange in them. That's great. I won't take the cinnamon roll. Don't worry about it. I will grind it. I don't wanna take it. It's yours. Don't take it. Do you have pumpkins? No, I have nothing. You have golden roses? That's nice. I like blue roses. I love the blue color. I like blue colors. You have potato! You have potato. Ah, potato, my friend. I don't know if I would do gardening in the game. I don't think I have the patience. You're not using it. If you say it, I do it. I picked it up, okay? I picked it up. You're not using it, okay? I picked it up, thank you so much. I can't see it. Shit, I wanted to see it. I love cinnamon roll. Do I have anything I... Oh, shit. What you want? I'm following you, don't worry. What you want? I like this cow. So, what? You have a bowl? Yo, blue mushrooms! That's so nice. I sit it down. I don't know how you sit down on the front. Wait, you can turn around! Wow, you can turn around! Holy shit! That's so nice! Oh my god, that's so cute. That's so cute. I love the blue mushroom behind us. It's giving a really nice vibe, for real. And you know what I would imagine? I don't know if you have any decoration like a bird. And put the bird on the tree trunk. And the bird gonna be, I don't know, music box or the one who is serving you the food. Put the bird there. It's gonna look so cool. Trust me. I don't know if you have birds in game. It would look really nice. Oh shit, sorry, I have a really bad auto mode. It's not your fault, it's the auto mode fault, don't worry about it. It's a good idea, I'm happy you like the idea. Yeah! Yeah! Oh, we going there? Okay. Wait, I'm trying to go in, don't worry about it. Game frozen bugs. Okay, now it's going in. What the? Wait, that's Isabel. I know this one NPC called Isabel. I know this one NPC. I like her a lot. Whoa, I like her. What your Tanuki is doing? Aww, that's cute. They look cute as fuck. I like Isabel. That's the one of the NPCs I know about. It's so iconic. Don't worry, I'm here. I'm behind you. What's this? Why are you giving me money? That's a lot of money. Why are you giving me shit ton of money? And I have an idea with the money he was giving. Give me a moment, I have an idea. Can I donate it to your coctuar? Can I donate it to your coctuar? Wait, basically. Can I donate it to your coctuar? No, no, no! Why? No, no, no. Okay, got it. Sorry, I thought it's a good idea. So sorry. I'm sorry. I thought it's a good idea because so much money I wanted to be nice. Sorry.
Yeah, because the other idiots are killing you right now.
At least I will help you. Don't somebody help me out big time when I saw that nobody paid for it because I have so much stuff and bells. Holy shit. Do you have shops? Can I help your economically? Can I help you with spending money in your shops? Can I do that? Can I economically help you? At least can I do that? I will pay your taxes, don't worry. You can go in my shows, but it doesn't get to me away. You just get what. Oh shit. I thought you get profit from it. Wait, this is a shop? No. That's a museum. Wait. Wait, this is a shop? Shop credit opens from 8 AM. What's the time? Is this open? At 9 from 9. What the fuck?
Jesus.
Where can I sit at? Ah, it's 7.
You destroyed my shit.
We have to wait in real time.
What?
If it will be my time, it will be open already. Can we change time? You can't cheat like that, right? Shit. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy, man.
Because there was a full squad there 5 months earlier and all informed me.
I see, yes, everything is real time. Shit, man. Yes, you can try and travel, but it's risky. I can understand that. I will wait for the opening. I wanna go to your shop.
Okay, let's gamble.
I wanna go to your shops, I'm curious. It's the first time I will go on a shop and I'm so curious about it.
Which one? Oh? Tom. Yeah.
Still thank you for the cinnamon roll. Yeah, you did the quest, the clock to add. You did the clock to add quest. Ah, the clock to add is happy, I guess. Wait, I lost you. What is this? What is this here? Podium.
Sure.
Campsite. Oh, hi. I found you. By the way, I have a question. How do you get iron in the game? So I can farm it myself. How do you get iron? You will. The problem is the game already wants me to get iron, but I don't know how you get iron. The game already wants me to get. No. I'm just asking how you got it. You need a pickaxe or an axe. Waiting. You get it by hitting rocks with a shovel. Oh, you have to hit it with the shovel. Ooh. Can I try it? Wait, I wanna try the idea. Do I have my shovel? Wait. I can get my shovel somehow. Okay, never mind it.
I'm ready.
That's interesting. You only need a I have a shovel and I have rocks, but when I tried it, there was nothing coming out. I have to try that idea more. Are you aware of the fact that the penguin having something in their eye?
What is this?
I'm enjoying Bumblebee World.
I hope it's not a treasure island.
No, it's not. It's a friend. She is really nice. She's 26 and having 3 kids already. And like, holy shit, that's crazy. I don't think I can buy the flinty shovel. I think it has to be the second one you got. Ah, you mean the rock shovel? The rock shovel. Okay, got it. I will take just 1 round of iron, so my shop can be done. That's all I do. And I will drop this. Drop item. You get 5 back.
There's a little boy if someone wants.
Yeah. You got 5 back. Okay. You wanna do anything, by the way? Can we do something multiplayer? There's any multiplayer shit we can do? Question. Oh, we go to your museum. Oh. Wait, can I go in? Ah, I can go in. I'm like, can I? I didn't. What the? You have gold or shit, you Maxima. Oh, sorry, I'm here. After notices, the most we can do is run around and trade stuff and catch stuff. Oh, I see. Your museum is big. I bet the person is happy. Hi. Oh, what is this? The roost. That's cute. I hope the new Animal Crossing game gonna have more shit. Can I talk to your bartender? Hi! No, I don't like coffee, I like tea. Do you have tea? Oh, the person doesn't have tea. You have Omi, we can have Omiibo. Whoa, we can have Omiibos, wow. Hi. I don't know what's happening. Wait. Okay. Oh, you can have. Wait a sec. I have a question. Oh, we're drinking coffee. Oh, nice. That was so cute. Wow. That was nice. I like the emote. Oh, and we're still sitting there. Wait, I wanted to ask, any amiibo can be used? Or only Animal Crossing amiibo? That's the biggest question I have. Any type? Or only Animal Crossing?
I think all Animal Crossing.
Up. It's okay, don't worry about it, thank you. I'm still waiting for your shops to open. I can't wait to see the items. I would love to change my look because I'm looking shit as fuck. What's here? Oh. You can put the thing here, what you collect. No way you have this type of shit here in game. No way. No way. We have this shit in game? Holy shit. Wow. Wow. I'm so surprised. Sorry, I'm reading. Whoa. I love this shit. So I will read them. Ancient statue. Whoa. Wow. I'm so surprised. Can we have more? Ooh. Wow. No way, you have wait, you have this one too. No, I don't want this one. Wait, that's the wrong one. This one. This one. Yes, it was in line with collecting all 50 bucks, but here there is all the statues too. There is also real and fake of them. These ones in the here are real. So you can get real and fake items in game just like in real life. That's crazy. That's crazy. You have the Mona Lisa, bro. museum is crazy. I have to check more. This is crazy. I have to know more. That's wow. I'm so surprised. I'm sorry. I'm so surprised. I'm just watching and open mouth and shocked. Here are all the fishes you gather. Holy shit. Hi fishes. I'm petting your fishes. Hi. Aww. You have fishes there. Oh my god. By the way, you should be careful if someone is visiting and can you open a fishing rod here? Someone gonna fish it out. Isn't it dangerous? Whoa, you have a big boy here. You can put sharks and dolphins or something. Or big whale. Oh, that's a mini one. There's a fish. Do you have a mini fish? You have a mini fish there. Oh, it looks so cute. Okay, you have even more. Thank God you can't fish here. I was so worried for a moment. Wow, you have that fish. It's one of my favorites. Look how gorgeous it is. It's like a flapping fabric in water. Holy shit. Wait. What is this? You can go up. I thought I fall down. Whoa. Can I go up here? Whoa, look at the fish. Oh my god. No way, I know what's that. Oh my god, they are the angels. They are really dangerous. They are the angels. Holy shit. Ain't way we have all these Easter eggs in game. No fucking way. No fucking way we have these Easter eggs. The angels. Why? There's a lucky mystery island you can go to using Nook Mile tickets. It's just by chance when you get it and you fish you get all sharks. What the fuck? Don't get eaten by a shark. Wait, I can go inside here. What? Wait, I'm in water. I'm in your water. Holy, look, I'm in your water. Holy shit. Oh my god. I love your angel fishes. That's the best shit. It's like a trophy for real. It's like a trophy. What is here? It looks so mysterious. What is here? No way you have the swirling fishes. No. I love them. The background picture of my Twitter is actually I modeled these little fishes and I made the simulation that's behind. You can see the fishes on my picture. They are really small. Fuck, I love them. I love them so much. Shit bad. What's here on the other side? There's anything? No, you can look through the little holes. Hi, I'm here. I'm here. Hi. 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 Holy shit. That's so cool. Oh my god. Oh, you're not finished this area yet. Alright, your island commonly. That's wow, you can get fishes from others. That's great. We can fish from each other. Wait, there was one more way to go. Wait a sec, I double check it if there is one more. I double check, give me a moment. I double check, give me a moment. Or that's the end. Yeah, that's the end. Oh, that's the end. Sad. I thought there was more. I wanna see more. Holy shit. That's crazy. Your aquarium section is... I love it. Wait a sec, there was one more. Wait a second. Wait a second. I was seeing it. This section. What is this? I was here before. Oh shit. You actually have all the cool ones already. You should be happy for that. You have all the cool ones already. Okay, I will go to your basement. I hope in the basement I will find all the sharks. Oh, it's a fault. Oh. Oh. Oh! Do you have my favorite dino? Let's see if you have my favorite dino. Let's see if you have my favorite dino. Ooh, you have to finish this one. Fuck yeah. Ooh. You have the turtle dino. That's great. Oh. Oh, interesting. Ooh. Ooh. I see. Not that. Oh. Oh. What's a mini what? I wanna go up. Oh. Wow. Can we go to the stand in this blue circle and look up? Give me a moment. I'm coming. Give me a moment, I'm coming. In this blue circle and look up. How do you look up? Oh. Oh. Holy shit. That's crazy. This looks crazy, man. This is crazy. Holy shit. My mind is blown up. I have to check more. Give me more. Fuck my brain even up. What the? What the? Oh, these are more recent ones.
Aviation on level 24.
What is this? I can get to the monkey, the rabbit, deer. There's hi, there is an alien ad on the TV in New Leaf. I don't know the New Leaf, I'm sorry about it. If that's the other version, never heard about it, I'm so sorry. I heard about New Horizons because my boyfriend loves Animal Crossing and he was buying it. He said I should try it, and here I am trying it. Other games we have aliens. Do we have aliens in game? I would love to see them. Oh my god. Soon the shop opens. 20 minutes. 20-minute shop opens. And I will check what are in stock. I see your koala. I found your koala. Hi. Non-spying stay. You have a bodyguard, Bumblebee. Bumblebee, your koala, it's a fucking bodyguard. You should be really thankful. That koala cares about you. That koala cares about you. You have even more bodyguards. Good job, girl. Good job. There's a ladder. Do you know about the ladder? Can I go up the ladder? Oh hi, I got up the ladder. Oh, you have flowers. Oh, Yahtzee. Sorry, I don't know English. I know my language is Hungarian, and that's Yahtzee, and I love them. I love the blue color of them and the violet ones. Why they closed? Why they closed? I was running here and they closed.
Maybe you have something in inventory?
No.
You You sure? What is that seat back?
What? What?
One up, one right.
Clumps of weed. That's weed only.
You can harvest the flowers.
Oh, I had no idea about that. A waterfall camps up. So here gonna be a waterfall? Oh, I see. There are new ones growing. I don't know what happened to the blue one, I'm so sorry. I'm really new blue today, I have no idea. You should plant more blue ones. Can I go down? Yeah, I can. Can I go down? I wanna go down. I found more blue ones. You have more blue. I found you blue ones.
Seriously?
Here are blue ones. Hi. Oh my god, I love that. I love it. I will stand here. Hi. Hi chat. Hi stream.
Might be bad.
Hi.
Hmm?
Best place. I found
Yeah.
the second best place on your island. The one where you can watch the aurora and this one. Best shit ever.
Good. Danach mal.
Vibing. Let's do a party here. Let's go. Oh
Ich
my
hab gerade den Gerber
god.
gezogen. Gerber.
Shit. If you can pick one, take it and plant it on yours. Nah. I will grind for it, don't worry. I will grind for it. I don't know how to do it, but I will grind for it. I will go down your ladder. You have fossils, by the way. You should dig the fossils up. I found already like 3 of them. You should dig them up. I want this store. Can I go in? It's 9. Brianna, can you tell the person to hurry up and open the store? Can you tell it to the person? Please hurry up and open the store. Can you tell it? Can he overwork for you? Overtime, you know, early and late. Can he overtime? I wish I could. Ah, shit! Then we gonna break the window and go inside. Can we do that? Wait, we break the window and go inside. Or there's a back door. No. Oh, shit. Shit. Can we do the same here? Oh shit! What is this?
Nice.
Oh.
Extra
What is
gerade
this?
auf 15 gezogen.
What is this? I want to interact with it. I can't. I don't know what it is.
Ja,
I thought we should say something.
das Ding ist geil.
Soon this one opens. I can't wait to go inside. 15 minutes. 15 minutes. 15 minutes and I can go in the store. It's a destination signpost. Oh, I see. What you wanna do in the meantime? I'm really excited to go in the store. It's my first time. I can't wait to go inside. I'm so sorry. Oh shit, I see. I love the sound of the snow. I'm so sorry, I love it.
Was hast du jetzt gemixt?
I love the sound.
Ja.
What is this? Wait, I'm coming in,
Ich
don't
hab
worry.
demnächst 2 Maxed out.
I'm
Ich hab
knocking.
halt Logistik zuerst gemacht,
I'm
jetzt mache ich
knocking.
Aviation und Scouting und Artillerie habe ich auf 14.
What the? The person has glowing floor. It looks like Zelda. Wait, I'm getting close to my monitor. Holy shit. That looks crazy. What the fuck? It's a Zelda floor. It looks like Zelda. For real, it looks so
Probably
cool.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Fuck, I love it.
Or maybe. Wait, the wall looks like a cartridge. It is a cartridge.
Yeah, I don't know what's why. The floor looks so cool. Bro. God, I love it. There are so many shit you can do in the game. Just the game too slow for me.
Zeit 38 ohne Windspiel.
I'm here. Where you wanna go?
Von 10 auf 24 geteilt derzeit.
Ah, okay, we go to this house, okay. Okay, I'm coming in.
Ich auch. Nein, Spaß in 2 Wochen.
Koala!
Wahrscheinlich, wenn ich dann Urlaub habe, habe ich unten schon alles voll. Und dann gehe ich schon in die nächste Phase, ins nächste Gebiet.
Ah, he is nice. Or she, I don't know. It was Sydney, wait, is she?
Wenn du jedes voll hast, kommt dir die nächste. Also der nächste Teil
It looks nice. I don't like too much colors at once. Wait, sorry. What is that there? What?
Alles so dumm, wie viel Geld du da rauskriegst, das ist Wahnsinn.
That looks cool. That's like an air refreshener.
Ich habe so an die 300
That looks
Star-Parts jetzt,
cool.
weil ich mir die mit dazu gekauft und die bunker ich jetzt.
Wait, your Sydney made something in the microwave. You see it on my stream? Sydney made something in the microwave. Where is there inside? Bro, your microwave is done. Sydney, your microwave is done. Hello. Not fridge, microwave. Not fridge, microwave. Oh man. She's making recipes for you. That's wow. You know what is a good idea? Make your villagers work for you. Good shit. Best shit ever. 10 minutes and we open. I have so much energy. By the way, don't forget there's something still on the floor there. I lost you again.
Okay.
I'm homeless, I lost you. Ah, see you. Hi. There's something you forgot. Come with me. Come with me. It's for my OCD, I can't take it anymore. Pick it up. Pick it up. Please. We forgot it here. If I shake the tree, the snow gonna fall down. Oh man. That's an expired lost item. Expired lost item. What the fuck that means? I never heard it before. What is a lost expired item? My apple can get expired? The beach and everything can get expired?
Also ich habe jetzt die letzten Runden, also die letzte Stunde hier immer so um die 30.
Lost items to pick up and have to find which resident it belongs to. Oh, that makes sense. Oh shit, I see. That makes sense. I'm gonna wait here and camp. I'm gonna camp here.
Ja gut, ist besser, die Sonne soll.
Let's camp here. Your bodyguard is coming, by the way. Your bodyguard is coming here. He's watching me. Okay, I will follow. You want me to follow you? Okay. I will put my phone too. Hi. You're checking Insta, me too. I'm checking Insta, you see? It's my Insta here. What? What you mean? Sorry, I never. This is the first time you heard using it. I did something. I did something, don't worry. I hope so. I don't know. I was doing what it's already processing it. When it comes through, I accept it. Okay. We're camping to the store. Don't worry about it. We have time. We're camping. And after I'm done, actually, I have to go and cook because I'm getting hungry. My boyfriend is fucking hungry too. So it's time for our meal. Soon. He's already asking me like, when do you do the burger? Soon. I don't know, it says processing request. I don't know. Maybe because I'm in your island, I don't know. Sure. I'm still waiting so I can go into your store. I'm really interested in going there. And after that, I will see how much time it needs for the other store. It's the first time I go into stores and I really want to try it if you don't mind it. But this one needs 1 more hour. So maybe I will end the stream, but I will stay here if you don't mind it. And when the time comes, just joining the store if you don't mind it. So while I'm waiting, I can cook. If you don't mind it, of course. Yeah, it was so much fun actually. It's way better when you play with someone. It's fucking better. It was so boring alone. Sure, I will. Okay, 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I will do this during stream. 5 minutes the store opens. 5 minutes, bro. I'm so ready. I'm so ready. 5 minutes. Hurry up, open it. Open it. Open it. Shit. Open it. If the penguin walking here, I swear to God I tell him to go open it. Where is the penguin? Are you walking there, penguin? Where are you? Penguin? I swear to God, if the penguin works there. Penguin! Where are you, bro? I have to talk to you right now. Where are you? Penguin. What is this? That's a toilet? Oh, okay, it's not a toilet. Sorry about that. That is a toilet. Where's the penguin? Penguin opens the door. Baby. Open the store. Penguin. Actually, that's nice. If you think about some bug collecting this weekend, that's actually they sharing life advices onto we can actually relax. Holy shit. I love the penguin. I will get the penguin army. I need a penguin army. Blower cardigan, I like it. I like it. It calls me baby, I feel special. Where is your bodyguard? I wanna talk to your bodyguard. Where's your bodyguard? Bodyguard found. You sure about it? I don't have a winter shit. The penguin gonna die. I have summer. The penguin gonna die. I don't know if that's a good idea. The penguin gonna die. I don't have summer. I don't have winter, sorry. Or I'm overthinking. You don't have blue. Let's do orange. I wanna do it again. I wanna do it again. Give me the option. I wanna check red. Give me the option again. Give me the option. Thank you. Oh, that actually was really nice. Okay. Okay, we have the shop open. You can have only resident records of your weather. Fuck yeah, that's good to know. I'm in your store. What is turnip price? What's hot today? No, thank you. I don't understand how you buy shit. How do you buy something? What the fuck? A colorful. Oh, a store net. I like the blue stuff. Give it to me. Ah, yes. Oh, slingshot. I need a slingshot. Oh shit! I don't have space. Fuck. Fuck! I don't have space. Oh you. Shit. Shit. Fuck. I know what I will do. Yes. I made space, don't worry about it. Don't. Sure. Sure, sure. I need a slingshot. I need a slingshot. Give me a slingshot. Fine. Yes, yes, yeah. Oh, I see. Okay, thank you for telling me. I want a slingshot. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. I got a slingshot. Yeah, let me check. Flimsy. That's an axe. What I have to craft. Bro. I don't know what's that. Timer. Red balloon. Red rose bag. Red moon. What? You have flower sets here. Cedar assembly. Sampling. DIY for beginners. Test your DIY skills. Can I buy this shit? Slingshot recipe. Can I buy these recipes? Leather recipe. I will buy this thing. No, I have a voting for. No. I have it already. Flimsy shovel, flimsy axe. Test your DIY skills. I will buy these things if you don't mind it. I'm so interested in it. Getting more recipes is bullshit. Yes! There was this DIY for beginners. Yes, give it to me. Yeah, I did right now. Right now. Sorry, I'm getting close to my screen, so I see a bit better. Sorry about that. I still have glasses, maybe I need a new one. Or maybe I'm playing for too long. Two options. Peatfall. What is peatfall seed recipe? I will buy it. I don't know what is it, but I buy it. I buy it. I don't know what is it. Give it to me. Oh shit! I have to learn all the recipes. Give me a moment. Learn. Holy shit. Oh, okay. I will buy it and see it. I'm curious. Sorry, I'm so curious. Pitfall seed. I want to buy it. I'm curious how to spoil it. Show it to me. Pitfall. I can maybe trap some bugs. Or trap a villager. Something. Can I go to the other side? Oh no, it's the same. Okay, can I? Wait, before we do. I'm so full with here. I don't know how you upgrade your pockets. I would love to upgrade it. What is this? No, I don't want it. I don't like it. I don't want the lamp. I don't like that. What is this? What's that? A bench press. No. No, I don't like how that. Well, I don't need it. What's this? Artsy table. No, I'm not interested. If you go with air trees, a flooring and walls. What? Flooring and walls. Air. Where? Air. Where? With air. Air. That's where? Sorry, I'm shit. Here? No! No. No! No! I want this! Yes, buy it! This! Yes! Yeah, I love the green shit! Give it to me! Oh man, I'm too full! Shit, I want it. I have an idea. Wait. I can get more wood, don't worry about it. We sell wood. Wait, they are different type or just one type? Hard wood. I will sell the normal wood. Wait. I want to sell. I will sell my wood. I will get more wood, I don't care. Fuck it. Fuck it. We doing business here. Fuck the wood. Sold. Fuck it. Yes, I want this. Maybe. Ah, there is not more. Oh, here. Colorful fishing rod. No, I wanted to buy this axe. Medicine, I don't buy medicine, right? Wait, how is my inventory? Okay, we are good to go. I don't know why I have two of them, but... Oh, because I bought one, wait. I bought one. Okay. Wait. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Anything... Wait, sorry, not you. No, 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 wait. Wait, yeah, I wanna check it again. I buy the shit. Shovel, I have a shovel. Sapling, nah. Flimsy wait, I wanna check the recipes again. Flimsy axe recipe. Test your DIY, I buy it. I have a better one. Do I did the slingshot recipe? Oh, okay, I have it already. Leather, I buy the vaulting pour I have. Pear. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with shopping. I'm a girl. You know how it works. I have only one place. I can buy only one shit from the clothing store. I have to mind it. I have to be really thoughtful. I wanna check the shit I buy, right? Store net! Look how cool it is! I have a blue net! Look at me, I have a blue net! Holy shit! It looks so cool! Best buy ever! I have Nook Miles to finish. Nook Mile Plus. Hell yes, I'm spending money and get money. Good shit. Anything else? Nice. Oh yeah, I wanna do the clothing store. Brianna, I will end the stream, but I still will be here, so we can chat, and I will be available on Twitch, so you can write to me. Okay, just let the code be the same, so I can join back. Okay. Yeah, I will start cooking, and I will empty my. How you leave the world? Wait, how you leave a world? Wait. Here. I think I go there. Wait. Wait. I'm doing my best. I just have to run here? No. Here? I want to go home. How do you put down? How do you have a storage box? How can I put shit in a storage box? Question. How do you put shit in a storage box? However, before I end the stream, can you teach you how you put shit in a storage box? And drop it all. Ah, dropping all. Okay. But they won't disappear, right? They won't disappear. You need to have a house for storage. I have a house. I got it today. I got the house today. Okay, I'm here. Wait, you have an option like that? I had no idea. Open pocket. Okay, wait, tutorial. You do tutorial. Where is the storage? What the fuck? Ooh, gloomy light. Wait. I have something in my hands. Okay, now I don't have it. Go back. Wait. The left arrow button is how you get the storage. Oh. Oh. Oh shit, I dropped it by accident. I'm learning a lot today. I will empty all of it so I can buy a lot of shit from the store. Wait, I will do this one too. Okay, I did it. Every time you pay off your house loan, you will get more storage. The max is 5,000. Oh shit! Wait, I have to pay off my loan. You're right. Wait, before we spend money to buy clothes, we should pay off the scammer. I'm so sorry to call him a scammer. When I first played and he was like, oh, hidden freeze, I felt like I got scammed. I'm so sorry. My boyfriend hates me for saying that. Wait, I'm doing it. Nice. Yeah, I did it! I paid off! Fuck yeah! Okay, talk again. About my home. Oh my god, even more, let's go. Eight color options. I will still go with blue. I love this. Okay. Fuck yeah, thank you. I'm learning a lot today. I love the blue color. Don't hate me, but I love it. Blue is my favorite color. I got 1,000! Fuck yeah. You know what I will do? I will buy the hairstyles, wait. Maybe it's a scam again and I won't see any good, but I will do that now. Give me a moment. I will buy the hairstyles. Bro, I'm streaming for 4 hours. Holy shit. I had fun today. For real. I had no idea we'll have so much fun. Blue and purple are your favorite? Good to know. I wanted to buy these ones. More hair colors! Fuck yeah. I can't wait to see it. I want the blue hair color. Hell yeah! Wait, I'm going the wrong way. Okay, Brianna, I'm saying the plan right now to you, okay? I'm saying the plan. I gonna end stream. I gonna do some shit now because I have to cook. And I will go back to your island after ending stream. And I will camp in front of the store so I can go to it, okay? That's the plan. And I will be available in-game. And you can chat to me on Twitch via whispering. That's available too, so don't worry about it. And I can share my Discord username if you want to stay more connected. That's all. Just let me know, just whisper right here, I don't know how you do it. Just tell me. Okay, I gotta end stream. Hell yeah. Oh my god, guys. Oh shit, man. Okay guys, thank you for watching. I gonna have some of yes, whisper to me, I will. Guys, I'm ending stream because I have to cook, and while I'm doing that, I will join back to my new friend Brianna World for buying some clothes, and that's all I will do during off stream, guys, okay? That's all I gonna do. We did a lot of progress, actually. Holy shit, I not was expecting to meet such a nice person. I like her so much, and she's a mother. Not too older than my age. That's crazy. Life is crazy, guys. Stay safe. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. Bye guys. Love you all.